The woman in the middle of this slide right here is called Muhamisa, and she's a very important historical figure from the Rwandan-Ugandan border during the pre-colonial to early colonial era. The people that you see around her are her followers, as she was the leader of a movement that sought to rebel against the British and German colonial governments. We know this because of colonial era archives. However, in her instance, we also know about her early life. We know about her expulsion from the Rwandan royal court, and we know about her affinity with the Nyabingi religion, which was a popular possession cult specific to that region. We know this because of a special kind of oral source called oral traditions that live in the minds of Rwanda's oldest residents. And it's fundamental that we re-engage with this material if we want to learn anything about women in pre-colonial East African societies. So this is where my research begins. There are many forms that oral traditions can take, but in particular I engage with long story-like narratives that are called Ibitikurezo and Kinyarwandan. These highlight a different kind of history compared to that which is presented by colonisers. The regional variations in these narratives mean that they can also contradict Ibitikurezo that has been told by previous Rwandan monarchs. They are a public event and therefore a living and interactive history. Unfortunately, these traditions have been sidelined until now within the academy, but there's an even more glaring omission in the exclusion of women within these narratives. Misunderstandings and ignorance on the part of colonisers has completely distorted our understanding of gender in pre-colonial societies. My research seeks to counteract this as colonial biases continue into present-day research. I seek to do this by examining how women are able to gain and execute power in pre-colonial Rwanda. In particular, I argue that spiritual aspects of Rwandan society gave women a unique platform to express themselves, to escape, and also to rebel, like you see in Muhamisa's story. But something in this changed, and I think that was the impact of colonisation. As colonisers moved in, and as the population started to internalise colonial constructs, women found themselves on particularly shaky ground. The overall of society was absolute, and women and religion and gender structures were a key component of how colonisers sought to restructure Indigenous societies. I will use colonial missionary diaries in order to understand colonial mindsets of the time. I will also bring into conversation new iterations of oral traditions and colonial era transcripts to understand how women were able to execute such power in pre-colonial societies. In doing this, my research is twofold. It seeks to democratise knowledge production by bringing in Indigenous original sources while demonstrating women's vitality in Rwandan history, which has been ignored till date.